Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Eric.
Carolyn.
I like how whenever I say Eric, you get annoyed and you say who your alias is for the evening.
No, I'm not annoyed. I'm just saying my name, Carolyn. And
Uh,
they'll find out why soon.
Tonight we are continuing our Gone Too Soon Dark Shadows 1991 revival binge for Halloween season. And we're covering episodes 4 and 5 of the revival. So I will roll the credits and we will get right into it. So one thing I did notice is Victoria Winters is narrating at the beginning of every episode,
hmm
or she has some
Like,
kind of like words of sage, like what's going to happen in the episode.
and is she writing it in the future? We may never know.
Yeah, it is almost like she's writing in a journal.
hmm It is.
Does she do that in the daytime series that you're watching?
Yeah, every day, every
Okay.
episode.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Julia is on the phone with the sheriff questioning where Michael is.
Mm.
The sheriff says he's going to check on him, and Julia wants to tag along. Michael answers the door and welcomes Julia and the sheriff in from the rainstorm. It's always raining.
What? Oh, yeah, right. Now, ever since the funeral, I feel like it's raining a lot more.
I thought about that because I questioned if the rain of the funeral was real because it seemed very aggressive. It was just like a lot of water. But now I'm like, maybe it's just rainy all the time.
It's like a hurricane every day.
um, the sheriff wants to know what Michael has dug up on the killer. And he says he's hit a dead end. And the sheriff says he was told he had photo evidence and asked if it was developed yet.
Were you surprised to see Michael? I was.
Um,
I
Only
thought he was gonna be dead like Daphne was.
I guess you could say I was surprised. I was surprised that he wasn't dead, but then when he wasn't dead, I thought maybe he was just being like mind controlled,
Mm,
um, compelled, as I like to say.
yeah, yeah, compelled.
But then he transforms into a vampire,
Mm,
which shocked me because I didn't expect him to be turned. And
right?
he attacks the sheriff. Julia stakes him in the back, but it's not deep enough, and then he turns on her and attacks her.
Yeah, it was good.
The sheriff then plunges the stake deeper and kills Michael.
Because everybody knows what to do when there's a vampire in town.
Yeah, they're all very like, like yeah, they all just react very no.
Episode 4, people. Episode 4. We know what to do.
Julia and the sheriff have some stiff drinks while they wait for the photos to be developed
I like that you put stiff drink.
because that's what they said.
I know. It's like, would you like a drink? A stiff drink or something like that.
It kind of put me in the mood for a stiff drink. I wish I
I
had.
know, me too. Except I was watching it this morning, so I did not.
The negatives were exposed and there's nothing shown on the photos.
Yeah.
Julia goes to see Barnabas and they discuss Michael. He says he gave him a choice and he chose eternal life.
So it was either death or eternal life, right? They're not good options. I guess I probably would have done the same, not wanting to die. But
She gives him another dosage of his serum. He says he feels very little pain now. And she says he can still continue to spend limited amounts of time in the sunlight. David is playing with his soldier figurines when Sarah appears. Victoria hears their voices and enters the room.
let me backtrack for a second. There was a scene with Elizabeth and Roger, and Elizabeth says she's happy that he was there or whatever with David and all that.
Uh-huh.
In the original series, This bitch hasn't gone out of the house for 18 years.
Elizabeth?
Yeah. They don't really say why she hasn't gone out in 18 years yet. I'm sure. I'm assuming maybe I'll find out. I have like 5 years to watch. So, yeah, I wonder if she's the same because she acts kind of like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like she acts very, she hasn't been out of the house yet, right? Was she at the funeral? I assume, but I can't remember
I can't
now.
remember. I assumed she was, but
I wish I knew this beforehand because then I would have been keeping an eye out. Like, but I guess like she probably went to the funeral because it was probably in their yard. So I mean, she might have gone like out there for that. But
yeah, that's true.
apparently, yeah. So I'm just curious. Maybe that's why she's happy everybody's there because she doesn't leave the house. So go on. I'm sorry.
um, Victoria asks if David was talking to Sarah, and he says yes. She sees the soldiers and says they look old, and he says 200 years old, and that they were a gift from Sarah. Victoria sees Sarah standing near a window and follows her down a hall to a locked door. She finds the key and opens it, following Sarah to a library, and she actually speaks to Sarah, who says she's reading about her big brother, Barnabas. She hands her a diary and says it's all in there. Victoria then goes walking through the family cemetery and finds Sarah's grave. She later is walking on the beach with Barnabas, and she gives him the diary, and he demands to know where she got it. He grabs her, and she says he's hurting her. She says she found it in a closed-off section of the house in the West Wing.
Because her and David made that pact not to say anything to anyone, especially Barnabas.
And
Because David said Barnabas is mean.
And he thanks her for the wonderful gift. He calms down. He's like, thank you for this wonderful gift.
Right.
Barnabas is reading the diary to Willie and says how much he loves his sister. Willie asks if he thinks it's true that David sees Sarah, and he says yes, because he's seen her too. He thinks there's something she's trying to tell him. And
There was some good Willie and Barnabas scenes in this that I really liked.
Yeah, because he's very mean to Willie, but then he has like these sweet moments, like he cares about him, or like they're friends.
Right. Yeah, I guess because it is his only friend, really.
It's his only person that'll do anything for him. Even granted, it's because he's under his spouse or whatever.
Yeah, but Willie kind of needed that. He wasn't like, the greatest guy in the very beginning.
Um,
Mhm.
Barnabas thinks that there's something she's trying to tell him. There's a picture of a woman that he crumbles and throws in the fire, and a woman's screeching figure comes out from the fire.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
That was
That was cool, right?
I was expecting, I don't know what, I guess I was expecting her to like actually form and be in the house.
Yeah, she's coming.
Willie asks what that was, and Barnabas says her name is Angelique and is the bane of his existence.
Hmm.
David has a painting hidden in the desk, and Victoria asks where he got it, and he says in a room he's not supposed to go in. He brings her to the room, which is an art studio, and is caught by Roger, who demands she stay out of there. Now, I remember, what's her name, Maggie, mentioning Roger being an artist when they were sleeping together.
Right.
In the previous episode. Roger then goes to Maggie's and kisses her passionately, and I assume they have sex.
Soon, yes.
Because they next appear to have slept together. Their clothes are a little disheveled. David set a doll on fire, and Roger begins. Oh, Barnabas begins. No, wait. I'm getting confused. Oh, Roger begins to have pain, so it's almost like a voodoo doll.
Yeah. And that's not David. Who is it?
It's not David?
It's Angelique possessing David.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
How did you get that?
Because when Victoria says she doesn't think it was him, that was doing it. Remember, Maggie says that it's his mom,
Uh-huh.
we haven't met yet. Her name's Laura, I think.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, I'm thinking it's Angelique because she's coming. I'm not 100% sure. It might be the mom, but I'm assuming it's not the mom. But I mean, Maggie does seem to know things, so.
Do we
But yeah,
think
it was.
do we think his mom is related to Angelique?
She could be. Yeah, that's true. She could be.
Hmm.
Well, she said. I think Maggie said she's a witch. All right, that should be coming up soon. I think.
Angelique or Laura?
When Maggie says that Laura's a witch.
Oh. So then maybe they're in the same coven.
Yeah.
So then Maggie has flashes of David and the doll and of Victoria putting the fire out.
Hmm.
Maggie meets with Victoria to warn her David is trying to hurt his father and is being controlled by his mother in England. Okay, so offline, you and I were talking shadows, and you were saying
Yeah.
how in the original series David's trying to kill his father.
Yes,
Maybe that's why. Maybe he's being possessed.
it could be. I did look up where Angelique comes on, and I feel like it's like a year after that I'm watching. So I
Oh.
don't know. He could be possessed, but this child is very hateful in the original. He does not like his father at all, and his father is not the nicest guy. So I mean, I don't blame him, but
So
he
maybe they
does. I
just
mean,
kind of took elements from the original and kind of intertwined them and repurposed them.
it definitely feels like it where
Okay.
I'm at, and I'm not even like I said. I started from the very beginning. I'm not in the Angelique years. I'm not in the Barnabas years. So I don't even know what that's going to be. So I'm excited to get there, but I still have a lot of episodes to go. A lot.
Willie doesn't want anything bad to happen to Barnabas or Victoria, and Barnabas has Willie put Sarah's diary on his desk, and it flips open to reveal the picture of Angelique that he had thrown in the fireplace.
Hmm. That's why I feel like Angelique's presence is there now. Like I feel like she's coming through.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially after that fiery figure that was screeching.
Right. Which is why I feel like Angelique's the one that possessed David. And I forgot my other thought. Sorry, brain fart peeps. Go on.
Well, that's all I had for that episode. That's how it ended, right? With the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, so we find out, I guess, a lot more about Maggie. Oh, by the way, I think I mentioned in the last one, remember we mentioned Laura Parker died and who was doing the audio tapes? Laura Parker was doing them, David Selby's doing Dark Shadows tapes. Catherine Lee Scott was the original Maggie, and she also does tapes, and she's the one that posted about Laura Parker recently. So
Oh,
she's
really?
still here and kicking, yeah.
Oh,
And she's in the series where I'm watching. Like on episode 22, and she's getting more involved. But I don't think she has any abilities as far as I've seen yet. But I'm wondering, like, if Barnabas comes to town, maybe she starts getting it around then. Like I'm feeling like like I wonder if that's gonna happen.
hmm.
Not positive. I have no idea what to expect, but
Hmm.
um,
That's really
but
cool.
yeah,
That
I think.
the actors so late in life are like going back to where they started and like still
They
involved.
continue. They continue. Like they've been doing these audio tapes for I think like 20 years. Like they're around. Like
Wow.
yeah. So and like I said, that it's probably because of those conventions. They're probably like there's still a lot of people that love Dark Shadows, and that's why they're staying in it. Why not?
It's so crazy that something that's so niche popular but can still have conventions doesn't seem to make
Right.
on like television.
Right. Right. Like with that reboot you were telling me about, was it 2004? I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like you would think they would get on the train. Like if you know there's a Dark Shadows convention, you know that a series from 1966 is still being talked about and celebrated. why not bring it back? Give it a chance. Like, give it 10 episodes. Like, give
Yeah.
it a mini series. Like, do something. Like,
And
weird.
I don't know how you feel about the Johnny Depp movie, but I thought it was trash.
I loved it.
Uh, maybe I was looking for it to be high drama, and because it went the other way, I was kind of annoyed. I don't know. I mean, maybe I should go
I
in with
don't.
mine, knowing what it is now.
I wonder how Dark Shadows fans felt about it. Like since I only knew the revival at that time when I saw it, I don't know. I liked it, but maybe watching. I wonder how I'll feel watching the whole entire thing. But I don't know. I mean, the original Dark Shadows people had like a 5-second cameo, which was kind of cool. But I mean, they could have given them a little bit more, like a dinner party, like where they talked.
Right.
Like, hey, I heard a werewolf, like Quentin, or like David Selby could say, something stupid, but they
Oh,
could have used them a little bit better.
David Selby was in it. He was one of the people.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, only for like a second. And he's David Selby. Like, give him a line. I don't even think they said anything.
cool.
They were just like guests at the dinner party.
um. So in episode 5, Victoria is having dinner with Barnabas, and she thinks that he's been a good influence on Willie because Willie's like very cleaned up now and he's got manners.
Right, right. It's cute.
uh, Barnabas gives her a present, and it's Josette's music box. They share a dance to the tune of the music box. And the next day, Julia is walking by Victoria's room and hears the music box and walks in to close it. Now, this is the turn that you kind of hinted at last time.
Right?
Victoria tells Julia it was a gift from Barnabas, and Julia says they have been becoming friendly and wonders if it's more than that and if she's in love with him, or vice versa. And Victoria asks her not to say anything about this.
Mhm.
So now Julia is not going to let this go. So
Nope.
she questions Willie about the nature of Barnabas and Victoria's relationship. And Willie freaks out and shows Julia the picture of Josette. Willie tells Julia Barnabas wants to marry Victoria, and they hear him coming up the stairs, approaching the room, and they kind of panic and hide. Now, I thought this was a little unrealistic. Vampires are supposed to have like heightened senses. I feel like he would have known somebody was in the room.
No, he's getting better. He's not vamping anymore.
I guess.
Remember, he hasn't fed on anybody. Well, I guess he fed on Michael,
I don't
but
know.
he had to. He had no choice.
Every, every time it focused on them in the closet, thinking that they were safe, I kept expecting like them to open the door and for his face to be there. Like I was actually on a little like I was on the edge of my seat
Right.
because I was like, oh, he's gonna kick Willie's ass.
Well, you think he's going to in a little bit, but again.
um, Julia decides that she's going to pause Barnabas's progress in becoming human by keeping him at his current level until his relationship with Victoria ends.
Why? Like, what would that, why would that help anything? If you're helping somebody to help them, like, that makes no sense. Unless you're crushing on a vampire.
Mhm. She holds up a syringe, and I put she had a tear on her cheek, which you really kind of had to look because she had her big glasses on, but I saw it. It was right
Right,
here.
right.
Carolyn visits Joe on the boat called the Daphne.
I said that. I saw that too. Like Daphne's boat.
She's very flirty.
hmm
They go for a sail, and she tries to seduce him, but he won't give in to her.
With Ruffles potato chips. I had to make note of that. I'm like, she's got Ruffles. I don't even think they sell Ruffles anymore. I'm not sure.
They do.
They do?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Ruffles.
Like they do. 3 for 5.
I like the cheddar ones.
Nice.
Um, Barnabas wants to know how much longer until his treatment is complete, and Julia said that they must proceed in moderation. And he's
Hmm.
like, he's done with fucking moderation.
Yeah, right. He's over it.
Joe and Caroline end up at the Blue Whale. Is that what you called it?
Yes, I wrote it in capital letters this time so I could see.
I was like, I'm just gonna write Blue Whale. If it's a different color, he'll change it. uh,
Yes, they're at the Blue Whale.
and Maggie gets visions of a demon, and Caroline screams
Yeah.
when she looks at them.
When she sees Carolyn have ketchup on her lip, right? And she was like, "Look, you got a little something right here."
It was Joe who had the ketchup.
Oh, Joe had the ketchup right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So here I thought maybe something was gonna happen to Joe, and he was gonna become a monster because it looked like she was looking at both of them and getting the vision. So I was like,
Hmm.
and then with the blood on his lip or the ketchup that looked like blood.
All right. The bloody ketchup.
I didn't know what to expect from that.
Hmm.
Um, Victoria and Barnabas are on another date. Their dates seem to be like either dinner or just like walks.
Yeah, I wanted to know how far is Collinswood from where they're at? Does it feel like it's like a 2-minute walk? But I'm not positive.
Yeah, because when he first came and he said he wanted to stay in the old grounds or mansion, I assumed that
Right,
it's on the same property.
right.
So, oh,
Yeah, and like because is this the one where she stays? Yeah, because it's raining. Because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
downpouring buckets. And
yeah.
and yeah, so I was like, I mean, it's not that far. I don't know, but whatever. I guess it is. No umbrellas. I don't know.
Um, Barnabas gives her a dress that was once Josette's.
For the costume party, right?
Yeah, the rain is coming
Yeah.
down hard, and Barnabas says she must spend the night. He sends Willie to bed, and he struggles to fight the urge to go up and see Victoria. Willie was cute. He was like, "Are you sure I could stay up? I'm not tired. Like, if you need anything."
Yeah, he just wanted to stay up so he wouldn't bite anybody.
Right. And he was
He's
like,
like, yeah, I'll just be up. I'll just be up.
"Go to bed, Willie." And he was like, "Okay." Like, but I don't have
I know. It was too funny.
to.
Surprised he didn't sit outside her door.
He ends up going to he, as in Barnabas, ends up going to her room and appearing as a
Mm.
vampire and fights himself not to bite her.
He starts making his faces.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's great. It's great. His scrunchy face.
His crunchy face.
Um, he ends up forcing Willie to chain him up inside the coffin to keep Victoria safe.
Oh.
So then Willie goes running to Collinswood and wakes Julia, and he brings her to the crypt Barnabas is in. When they get inside, Barnabas is out of the coffin and says, "What have you done to me, Julia?"
Hmm.
He forces her to admit she diluted the uh, serum because of his relationship with Victoria.
The potency of the serum.
Oh, that's what I tried to write. Because it says pot cubic, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to skip
I'm just gonna look over that.
it. Barnabas demands she give him one final injection to put an end to all this. The next morning at breakfast, his hands look weird. They look like wrinkly and old. Um, Barnabas makes Willie take Victoria home and to bring Julia over immediately. So it seems this isn't the first time. Victoria must have like this weird complex because she'll be having a great time with him, and then he'll
Right.
get weird and like turn away and like won't look at her. The last time I think it was when they were kissing and he vamped out and he like didn't want
Yeah.
her. So she's probably
He
like,
turns his he turns his back on her and he's like, you can go now. She's like, but we were having fun. No.
Right.
Yeah, it's a shame.
um
Oh, and I did want to we remember when Willie goes, the aunt answers the door, his aunt. And I don't think it was the aunt I hated, but her in the past I hated. The aunt. Remember that. Because I
okay.
was like, I think the aunt's pretty nice. Like, I don't know why I would hate her. Remember I told you I hated her?
Yeah, I thought about that. And then I was like,
When,
did he mean the Anne or did he mean Elizabeth? And then I'm like, they both seem pretty nice, but
no,
the speed at which this show goes, that could change in a minute. So like,
no, but everybody in the present is in the past as well. Like, plays a different character in the past.
oh,
So yeah, the aunt is in the past, and I hate her in the past.
okay.
I'm pretty positive. I forget why exactly because I haven't watched this in a long time, but we'll find out very soon, I'm sure.
Um, well, rewatching this, are you like having memories back to your childhood? Like, do you remember actually watching it on TV,
I do remember watching it on TV.
even though it was
It,
interrupted by like the Gulf War?
yeah, I told you, me and my mom every Friday night when it started, she was a fan of the original series. She still watches it. I think she just watched it recently. She loves it, but and I just remember her telling me about it. And we watched it together, and it was like Fridays at 9 p.m. And yeah, the Gulf War was always on, and we were just
Did
like,
you,
oh man, we hope it comes on tonight. And
well, when it would come on, did it like come in mid episode or did they play it?
yeah,
Uh,
it came on like it's almost like they just let it play somewhere, and then whenever it like came on, it came on, and that was it. And it's a shame they didn't like even rerun it in the summer. I don't think because I feel like the ratings probably would have been strong enough to bring it back.
so did you find it? Well, you probably can't remember. It's been 30 something years, but did you find it hard to follow because it was like choppy?
Yeah, which is why I did rewatch it when it was on VHS. I bought the VHS tapes for like $30 a pop. Do you remember when VHS tapes were like that much money
Yeah,
in like the 90s?
yeah.
Um and I would buy like a random episode like so I could watch it and so I did rewatch it again, since then,
Oh, okay.
but I haven't watched it. Like I said, I bought the DVDs when it came out and I never watched them. So I haven't watched it in like, at least 20 some years.
I was gonna say good for you for still loving it, even though it was like choppy and you couldn't follow it that well.
Yeah, yeah. Because what I saw was really good, and you're watching it and you're liking it, right? So I mean, it's great. It's
I'm
sucks,
actually
man. I wish I
sad when
want it back. What's that?
I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
I know we only have what 7 episodes left, and I'm telling you, like so much happens, like it's crazy. Like you see, like I feel like this is like nothing. But like once they get to the past, like I feel like it's just so much happened.
um, so Willie goes to Collinswood to get Julia, and he, like you said, he runs into his auntie. That's
Yes.
what he calls. And why did he say he was there? What was the excuse?
Did he say something that? Oh, for the rose garden. He wanted to make a
Oh,
rose garden
yeah, right. And she wants to
for
cook,
Barnabas.
and she wants to cook him breakfast, and he almost gets like distracted, and he's like sausage.
Yeah, he's like, what blueberry? What did he call them? Not pancakes. What do they call them?
Waffle.
Flapjacks or something.
Project.
Blueberry flapjacks. And he's like, with sausage? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, no, I can't. I mean, Barnabas probably would beat his ass. So I mean, really.
Right. But he doesn't really have to do too much snooping because once his aunt goes off, Julie is actually coming down the stairs,
Yeah,
and she refuses to come with Willie to help Barnabas.
yeah.
He wants to fuck around with another woman. Fuck around.
I can't help him. I can't help him.
um, Carolyn lets herself into Barnabas's mansion and finds him looking old and vampire-like.
Ah.
He attacks her and feeds on her, and for a minute I thought she was dead because you never know. I was like, "Oh, is she gonna be grizzled in blood like Daphne was?"
Well, I don't think they can kill another Collins yet because there's only like two other ones, and it's her and Roger,
I
and then
thought
I guess
about that. I
David.
was like, he's just like killing his family. I know he can't control it in some ways, but like,
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like he wouldn't kill his family. Um,
He can't control it, like he said.
um, where am I? So Willie walks in and he stops him before he can kill her,
Yeah.
but he forces Willie to pull the drapes so the sunlight doesn't come in. And once it's dark, he's able to morph back to his young looking self.
Thank God.
So I guess it was the sun doing that then, just frying him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know because like I guess because they pushed the serum, I thought maybe it was working, like it because it was like making him old,
Mm-hmm.
because he was human-ish, right? But then yeah, like why do you want this? I don't know. I don't know. I guess it was fucked up. Like whatever happened with the serum, I think fucked them up.
This is now reminding me of Guiding Light with the clone storyline with the serum. The clone Riva took too much and she aged rapidly until she died.
Oh shit! See that? Where we got to look up that writer. I wonder if that writer was on this with this. Serious. You never know.
Like
Some of the writers.
they were giving it to her in dosage, and then she like got her hands on it because she wanted to be an adult so that she could seduce Joshua.
All right, that's my homework tonight when I go to work. I'm going to look up Guiding Light writers from what was that, 1995?
98.
Oh, that was 98?
Yeah. It was
The
March.
beginning of 98?
No, the rapid aging of the clone was March or April of 98.
Okay, because I started watching it like November of 98. So I was like, I don't remember anything about a clone in 98. So I guess that storyline wrapped by the
Yeah,
time I started watching.
yeah, it ended in August. The clone died in
Because
August.
Annie was Signe Coleman when I watched.
Oh,
When
really?
Annie came back with a different face, yeah.
Oh,
And I love Signe Coleman, so I loved all of it.
huh. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I never watched Guiding Light when Cynthia Watros was on there.
Oh, I didn't know that they brought Annie back after. I thought she was just dead from the plane
Oh
crash.
no, they brought her back, but nobody knew it was her because she had a different face, of course. You know how this you know how this goes.
Well, that's
It was
making
a really good storyline. That's what got me hooked. I got hooked on Guiding Light because of that storyline, pretty much.
me want to go back to Guiding Light.
We want to see everything. There's too many subs. All right, go on.
um, where am I? Oh, so he once again has no reflection,
Oh yeah,
and he ends up breaking the mirror.
this world's crashing.
And Barnabas compels Caroline that she will come to him when he calls. And I'm like, okay, so it sounds like Daphne. Um,
and don't say, well, and yeah, and then he killed Daphne. I
yeah,
guess he couldn't. I don't know.
but
He must have got so into Daphne, like he just couldn't stop. He's like, I'm so hungry, you know.
but he says she'll do his bidding in secret, so maybe he has different plans for Caroline.
Yeah, I guess it was just his way to like make her not say anything, and he'll probably use her in the future. I don't remember what he does, but
And I didn't like this because they are supposed to be related. He kissed her on the lips.
well,
And
vampires, and
yeah,
he's a very distant cousin. I mean, he should be dead, really.
all right. Well, kissing cousins anyway.
It's like his great. What is that? Like the 10th removed cousin? It was like the 1700s. Like it's crazy.
Whatever. He ends up saying Julia.
He what? I'm sorry.
He ends up saying Julia is gonna pay for this.
Oh yeah, shit.
So now I'm like, what's
Yeah, I'm
happening?
nervous.
Is Angelique gonna come? And is Julia gonna side with Angelique because she needs protection? Is it gonna be like
Listen,
mystical mob
Angel
wars?
Angelique is a force in herself. She don't side with nobody. Like she's just, yeah, she's exactly what Barnabas said.
So is she
And
evil?
it's, oh, fuck yeah. She's the
Oh,
devil. Pretty much. Yeah, she's horrible.
okay. I didn't know she's
But
a witch.
she's I love Angelique. I love witches, so I always like witch storylines, and this is a really good one. So you're in for a treat.
I just didn't know if she was like a witch that was fighting the forces of evil and darkness, like vampires and like.
No, there's no fight. She's just a witch and an evil one. That's there's no nice about her at all. No redeeming qualities as far as I know.
Interesting.
But I like it. She's great.
Well, hopefully we get more of her, or we see her in the
Oh,
next 2 episodes.
so in the original, it was funny. I was watching the original the other day, and Carolyn and Joe, remember I told you they're together
Hmm.
in the original, but Carolyn's pushing him away. Like she's like, I don't want anything to do with you, which is really funny to watch. Like this Carolyn and Joe, she's like coming on to him strong, and then the old one, she's like, yeah, I don't want your shit. He's like, you want a burger? Want to go to somewhere for a burger? She's like, no. Like she wants nothing to do with them. And it's just really funny to watch it at the same time, like as this, because I'm like, it's so different,
Yeah.
yet kind of the same. But I do want to know more about Elizabeth, which I think we find out some stuff in the new one coming up. So
Nice.
there's some fun stuff. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No,
All
we're
right.
good.
Well, thanks for joining us for another installment of Gone Too Soon Dark Shadows 1991. We're going to be continuing our Dark Shadows binge in a couple of nights, so join us as we continue this journey. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps, and until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.